is going on, beautiful people? Welcome back to Funnelheads. Today we're going to be discussing our favorite top 10 things to do on the beautiful Carnival Mardi Gras, which we happen to leave in about 15 days on the Mardi Gras again, but who's counting? But if you want to follow along, I'll be uploading, brand new content, of course, from the ship, trying to go live if I can, depending on internet and all that good stuff. But this is the celebration cruise on the flagship, so it should be an amazing time. We'll have a lot of content, so feel free to subscribe, join the family. We'd absolutely love to have you. But let's get right into today's video. Now, in no particular order, number one is going to be the pools on the Carnival Mardi Gras, specifically the one in Summer Landing, which is located on deck 8 all the way aft, so all the way on the back of the ship. Now, when we first saw this pool, we actually thought it was part of the Havana cabins that are exclusive to those guests that book those rooms, but this is actually a free pool. You have an amazing view, especially while you're sailing. The only downside is you have to bring a towel. There's no towel stand anyway. We learned the hard way if you watched one of my other videos, but absolutely bring your towel before you go here. But amazing area. It's a lot quieter, so if you want to get away from like the Lido deck games, music, some of more of the rowdy crowd up there, this is absolutely the place to go. There's also a jacuzzi on the side of the ship as well, so we spent a lot of time there. There's also a bar. It wasn't open. I think it's called the watering hole. It wasn't open on our sailing, but I'm sure for future sailings it will be, as well as the Pig and Anchor is right there as well. Bathrooms, all that good stuff. So great little spot. It was absolutely one of our favorite activities to do. Now, number two on the list is going to be the piano bar, and if you know us at all, we absolutely love going to the piano bar, even if it's just for 30 minutes, 45 minutes, if there's other activities going around on the ship that particular, evening, usually we'll still stop in, say hello, stay for a drink or two, and then continue on with the night. But it is so much fun. The piano players are fantastic. Now, it does get very busy, so I suggest going early if you want to be there right when it opens. Typically it opens around 9 o'clock, and usually there is a little bit of a line. Remember, there's a lot of guests on this ship, and the area or the venue is not super big. So, you just want to make sure you get there early if you want a seat. Of course, people will be filtering out, throughout the evening. So it is possible that you can get a seat later on in the evening. But if it's something that you absolutely want to do, just make sure you give yourself a little bit of time. But we absolutely love it. Just singing along with your other, fellow passengers, joking around, everybody's laughing. It's a great time. So I highly recommend you check it out. Now, number three is going to be the water slides and the splash area. This is an amazing area on the Mardi Gras because you have mini golf right there as well. Plenty of seating for all the parents if you have a little one that wants to go through the splash pad. And they also have like a little kiddie slide that our son, who will be 5 in about a week or so, absolutely loves. But you also have 3 amazing slides. Now, I cannot remember their name off the top of my head, but you basically have a body slide where you have a mat and you go on your belly. A lot of fun. My favorite is the orange slide. I think it's Thunder something, but anyway, you basically step into this enclosure and it counts down, and the employee pushes a button and the floor actually opens up underneath you and you just vault down. It was so scary the first time I did it. I have a video. I'll try to find it and maybe post it in the background of this, but really, really fun. And then the other one is just like a normal slide. You can go feet first. All 3 are a lot of fun. I probably went down each one of them at least 3 or 4 times. Highly recommend you checking them out. Definitely a little scary, at least for me the first time, especially the orange one, but well worth it. Now, number 4 is going to be the Lido deck games. Now, these vary from cruise to cruise, as well as cruise director to cruise director, but a lot of times they'll have, different types of games, whether it's ice carving. They get the guests involved with like guessing that song. They used to have the hairy chest competition. Hopefully they'll bring that back soon. They didn't have it on the last 2 or 3 cruises that we were on, of course, probably because of the pandemic, but I would imagine they will bring that back at some point. And you know, like I said, all cruise directors have different variations of these games, but they are a lot of fun, especially if you're just kind of relaxing on the Lido deck, reading, and then all of a sudden, you know, you've got the DJ playing music and the cruise director and the fun squad doing all these entertaining games. I've never laughed so hard, especially if you can get like a family member or close friend that you are cruising with involved. You know, just know that they'll probably pay you back later on in the cruise or the next cruise, but there's been so many times we've gotten, you know, like I said, friends and family involved, and I'm just crying in tears. My stomach is hurting because I'm laughing so hard. So definitely a great time. Definitely recommend checking that out. Now, number 5 on the list is going to be the Comedy Club. Now, this is another show that you want to make sure you get there pretty early, and I would say at least 20 minutes early, because again, this is a smaller venue, a lot of people on the ship wanting to do the same thing, and they only have a couple of times to do this. So but if you get to go in, so funny. They typically have some great comedians that have several acts. If they perform on consecutive days, typically they'll have different acts, but they also have family acts as well as adult acts. So a really great time for the family. I highly recommend you at least try one of the shows during your cruise. Now, number 6 is going to be the deck parties, and this is going to vary from cruise itinerary to cruise director, but typically you'll have your sail away party, you'll have a mega deck party, maybe an 80s party or all white party. Again, it's up to the cruise director, but if you have like a Facebook group or whatever, usually you can find out what kind of parties they're going to have on your specific cruise. But every one of them is a lot of fun, a lot of line dancing, joking around, just, you know, kind of mingling with the other guests. A lot of people will dress up for these parties, specifically like the 80s party, and I've seen cruise directors dress up as well. One time Mike Pack was Richard Simmons, which was absolutely hilarious. But we have a great amount of fun. Little man typically will try to stay up for these. We'll let him nap during the day, and then at night he's pretty fresh to go, but he knows almost all of the line dances at this point, and of course we have to dance with him and make fools of ourselves. But it's a lot of fun. Highly recommend you guys checking out at least a couple of these deck parties. Now, besides the sail away party, the other deck parties are usually later in the evening, starting around like 9:30 to 10:30, so they are a little bit later, so just know that. Now, number 7 is a twofer, but they pretty much go hand in hand, and the first part of it is going to be the playlist productions in the main theater. Absolutely breathtaking. The performers do an amazing job, so if you're into that type of stuff, definitely check that out. But also what we prefer is the Grand Central stage. Now, during the day, usually this is just you know, floor to ceiling, open window, so you get to see, you know, the ship sailing, all the ocean, but at different parts of the day they actually transition this into a stage with like all LED TVs to use as like their backdrop, and they'd have different like shows, like little comedy shows, magic, Vegas style shows. And we love this because you can sit, for sure there's different, you know, spots where you can sit, but we actually like, you know, the option of like standing or just walking by and seeing some of the show. That way you don't have to sit for the whole show. Really works well for us, especially since of course we have little man who's almost 5. You know, he doesn't have a huge attention span, so it's not worth it for us to, you know, sit for a 45-minute or hour show. But if we can catch glimpses of, you know, something, that works well for us. But definitely check out either one of them. Amazing times. Now, number 8 is going to be the fantastic live music around the ship. I can remember when we went in December on the Mardi Gras, specifically, of course, you had the DJ, which typically played on the Lido deck. You had a single acoustic guitarist who would sing absolutely phenomenal. I remember watching him in the Brass Magnolia, and little man absolutely loved it. He was trying to take pictures of his act on his tablet, and the guitarist ended up giving him his pick that he was playing with, so it was a really cool experience. And then we had another couple of artists that played right outside the fortune teller bar, but wherever you are, you're going to run into live music, and that's just such a cool thing. Even if you're just walking by and just listening for a brief moment, it really makes the evening. Now, number 9 is going to be Bolt, which, if you don't know what Bolt is, it's the first roller coaster at sea. Now, this activity costs an additional amount, which is $15 per person. You do get to go around the roller coaster twice, so there is value there, but I am scared of heights. I do not like heights, but I loved this. I enjoyed it way more than I thought I was going to, and we actually got to go on it while the ship was sailing, which was just so unique. You really just got to see, you know, like everything around you. Absolutely breathtaking. I highly recommend you do it. Get on the ship, use the Carnival Hub app, and reserve, you know, a couple of times. It is not open all the time. The weather has to be just right for you to do this activity, so I would, you know, definitely recommend just trying to go as early as possible so that way you don't miss out. And lastly, number 10 is not really even an activity, but we absolutely love doing this, and that is just walking around the ship and getting lost. Now, if you've been on other Carnival ships and this is your first time on the Mardi Gras, you will get lost because the layout is completely different from anything that you're used to with Carnival. And that's a great thing because, you know, just that feeling of getting lost and finding things. I mean, there was times on, you know, day 6 and 7 on the end of our cruise where we found things for the very first time. And trust me, we looked at deck plans and all that, but, you know, as you're browsing the deck plans, you're always missing out on something. And I just love getting lost on cruise ships, finding those, you know, nice quiet areas that not a lot of people know about. So highly recommend, you know, just taking a day, whether it's at sea or maybe it's a port of call where you're not getting off the ship and the ship's nice and quiet, you know, just walk around, take some pictures, and get lost. But hopefully you enjoyed our list. Let me know what you're looking forward to the most. Is there something on your list that didn't make our list? Let me know in the comment section below. As always, thank you so much for watching. Hopefully I'll see you right back here in the next video or on a cruise ship one day. Catch you later.